Who are we missing? Good afternoon. I know we are running a little bit late. The committee before us had a little more business to handle than they normally do, so we gave them a little bit of our time, or they actually took it. We are, it's 3:15. The Business and Utility Subcommittee is now in order. Mr. Clerk, if you would, please open the board so we can take a roll. You're good. Mr. Clerk, take the roll, please.
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you for that. And Leader Camper, I would recognize you for prayer and pledge, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All heads bowed, all minds clear. Lord, I want to take this moment to thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being everywhere all at once. I want to ask you to bless this committee as we convene, Lord, to do your work. Bless those that's going to come before us, those who are going to testify. Give us grace, Lord. A special prayer blessing for our brother, Leader Cochran. He's experiencing some troubling waters right now, and he needs you, Lord. These and other blessings, Lord, we ask in your darling Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Leader.
You're welcome.
Do we have any personal orders this, Chairman Powers, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a great group here from Campbell County, the Campbell County leadership. If you all would care to stand, we would love to welcome you here today. Please. Oh, there they are. Thank you.
Do we have any more personal orders? Seeing none, then we'll get right into our business. I would like to recognize Leader Camper said something about Leader Cochran. His father is sick and in the hospital, so y'all keep him in your prayers. Those that may have wondered what was going on there, he's fine, but his family just needs your prayers through this time. As I have to make, anytime you got a loved one in the hospital, it's always tough. So as we'll start with our calendar here, we're going to have some housekeeping. And we've had several items been asked to be rolled one week. So bills being rolled this week. Item number 3 by Chairman Farmer, House Bill 0569. He's asked to roll that bill 1 week. So without objection, rolled 1 week. Item number 4 by Chairman Farmer, House Bill 1970. He's asked to have that bill rolled 1 week. So without objection, rolled 1 week. Item number 5 by Chairman Russell, House Bill 2164. He's asked to roll that bill 1 week. So without objection, rolled 1 week. Item number 8, Representative Travis, House Bill 2175, rolled 1 week. Item number 9, item number 9 by Representative Hurt, House Bill 2241. He's asked to roll that bill 1 week. Item number 11, Representative Towns, House Bill 2056. He's asked to roll that bill 1 week. So without objection, rolled 1 week. Item number 12 by Representative Miller, House Bill 1918. He's asked to roll that bill 1 week. So without objection, rolled 1 week. And last but not least, House Bill number 18 by me, 1985. I've asked to roll that bill 1 week. So without objection, we'll roll that bill 1 week. Bring us back to the beginning of our calendar, and we're going to start right off the bat, taking something out of order. So Representative Butler, we're going to take House Bill item number 6, House Bill 1847 out of order. We have a motion and we have a second. You are properly before the committee on the bill. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to come back. We talked about this legislation, which is a data center bill, and I do want to reiterate, in Tennessee, we love data centers. We want to have data centers, but we want to put guardrails around that to protect our ratepayers, and that's the ultimate objective of this piece of legislation, and we've been working with all the parties involved to do that. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I will stand for questions.
Okay, thank you, Representative Butler. Now, I do believe we have some amendments. Chairman Vaughn, I'll recognize you because I believe you have an amendment you want to put on this bill. You're recognized.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say thank you to the sponsor who has allowed some input, and I think we're coming out with a better product. But what I'd like to do is apply drafting code 14557 to the bill. I believe it considered a friendly amendment.
We have a motion on the amendment, amendment number 14557. We have a motion? We have a motion. We have a second? We have a second on the amendment, and that is a friendly amendment.
That's correct. And I'd like to give you an explanation of it, sir, if we could.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What House Bill 1847 will do, as amended by this, it'll prohibit municipalities and electric utilities from either subsidizing or absorbing the cost of electrical infrastructure required for large-scale data centers. It ensures that any infrastructure costs incurred that would not have existed but for the data center's demand are the responsibility of either the developer or the operator of the data system. It prevents data centers from receiving more favorable reimbursement terms than other comparable utility customers. It specifically applies to data centers with a projected peak electric demand of 100 megawatts. We're considering maybe reducing that number down as this bill moves forward within their first 3 years. Now, what it doesn't do, it excludes broadband and internet service providers whose facilities primarily support telecom or wireless network operations. It authorizes data centers to purchase and receive energy directly from independent power producers located in Tennessee. It allows for a direct interconnection between an independent power producer and a data center though written approval is required from the utility if the data center is still taking utility services. It amends the definition of a public utility to exclude IPPs or independent power producers solely because they sell power to the data centers alone. It clarifies that if any conflict arises with TVA terms, rates, schedules, or requirements, then TVA has a supremacy in that case. It maintains that all activities are subject to federal law and does not supersede federal agency orders. And it removes state governments, their STS operations from this. And it's set to take effect on July 1st of 2026. And what this bill does, that was a little bit different than the other bill, is this charges local governments and power companies with how they treat data centers, as opposed to saying us regulating the data centers. But the other thing is it sets up a mechanism by which behind the meter power can be generated and looked at. And that's an area that I've been interested in. And so I was fortunate that Representative Butler was amenable to receive these comments. And I want to thank him and all the stakeholders that gave input. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for the amendment sponsor? Seeing none, we'll be voting on putting amendment 14557 on the bill. All those in favor of putting this amendment on the bill, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is on the bill. Representative Butler, you are recognized on the bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I appreciate Representative Chairman Vaughn and his input and some of the folks that we've been meeting with. Behind the meter, as he referred to, if you're not familiar with that terminology, it's the power that's being generated on that site for that particular data center or other entity. They do have some EPA regulations that they have to comply with, but I think the demand for power is probably going to encourage growth, encourage more power behind the meter, which ultimately I think will help ratepayers reduce the cost of the meter reduce the cost at their meter. And ultimately, long-term, 5-10 years out, I think will be a contributing factor to reducing overall electrical rates. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll stand for any questions.
Chairman Powers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I do have in the rural areas, they're putting a lot of these, and we have had a lot of increased utility bills. And so we've always tried to determine if that's actually the cause of the increased utility bills, the demand. One thing that we found, what some of them do is they'll buy electricity at a low rate overnight and store it and then use it the next day. We found a couple of those data centers that do that. Others I'm not sure about. So what we're trying to find out is that actually causing that extra demand, is it causing the rates to go up in our rural areas like that?
You recognized.
Thank you for those comments, Chairman Powers. Well, I don't think the data centers are trying to be bad actors. And I do want to make sure I reiterate all of the data centers that have been put in Tennessee. This is not a reactive bill. This is a proactive bill. Mm-hmm. So the data centers that are currently either under construction or in progress or already slated to be there have already agreed to pay for all the infrastructure that was needed to provide power for those or other utilities that may be needed. So this is, I do want to make sure that's on the record. And I think I said that last week, but it's really difficult to determine what you're talking about specifically. Did the additional demand on the system cause the rates to go up, or was it attributed to inflation or some other cost? Mm-hmm. And so right now, TVA has a restriction on the amount of power that a data center can pull off the grid. It's 150 megawatts. Mm-hmm. And so I think the behind the meter that Chairman Vaughn's referring to is probably going to be a natural demand when they require much more power than TVA can even provide or is willing to provide. And part of that restriction, in my humble opinion, is to protect the ratepayers so that we don't end up consuming all of that available power for that particular data center. And then your house and my house and everybody else's house rates go up because we don't have the available power for them. Now, I think for a data center or any other large consumer of power that puts in some type of data storage bank, batteries, et cetera, whatever storage mechanism they use to store that power during that, consume that power, store that power at night, and then use it during the day. I think they're being a good partner and a good community partner. Right. And I would applaud them for doing that because they've absorbed that additional cost to ensure that they're not pushing that cost back onto ratepayers. Right. So I don't have a direct answer to answer your question. I'm not sure anybody could truly answer that question. Mm-hmm. What actually drove up the cost? So if there was a substation that was needed to be put in to provide power for this data center, then the data center would pay for the substation. That's basically what this is addressing. Direct cost infrastructure up front, the data center would cover the cost for that. Okay. So I don't know that I can answer your question specifically, and I don't want you to think I'm not answering it. Right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Chairman Powers.
Thank you.
Former Chairman Boyd.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Grills. I feel like the artist formerly known as Prince, the chairman, former chairman. But sponsor, the bill, you and I talked about it. We've been working on this even back when I was chairman of the committee. We were talking about it, and I share your concern with data centers, largely because there's a finite amount of electricity, and with a lot of contributing factors such as people moving to Tennessee, a switch from furnaces to heat pumps, electric vehicles, everything's battery charged now. I'm concerned as well. And a lot of times in the heat of the summer or during an ice storm, we're buying off of our neighboring systems, MISO or the Southern companies. And so I share a concern, but I was a little bit, worried about your bill, concerned about the direction it was going, simply because we're treating a specific industry differently than anyone else. If someone was coming in and using the same amount of electricity but doing something else, we were okay with it. And I know that the local power companies are highly regulated in Tennessee by TVA as far as the rate that they can charge, a lot of the things that they do. And so I think they're already under an enormous amount of control. And sometimes when you have a commercial customer like that come in, they pay a commercial rate. And that oftentimes has kept rates from going up on residential customers. And so I had some concern about that, but you have amended the bill, and the Vaughn amendment that was put on there, I think is very necessary. And I think this takes the piece of legislation in a different direction, and I like it. I think specifically the power behind the meter. I like that a lot. So I am, although I was originally in opposition to your bill, I will be voting for it.
You recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for those comments, former chairman of the committee. I appreciate your input. I think the power behind the meter really, that technology and the desire to be able to produce that power in-house or on your own property, I think that technology is going to continue to develop and probably be something that actually helps us reduce power costs long-term in the next decade. Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, we'll be voting on sending House Bill 1847 on the full. All those in favor, vote aye whenever the board opens, and vote no if you're against it. Take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 1847 on the full.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Mr. Clerk, I think you need to recognize too that Chairman Lafferty is with us now. Are you signed in? Okay. We'll go back to the top of our list and we'll take House Bill 1503 by our leader Lambert. We'll take him out of order because I know he's got lots of busy things going on. So if we can get a motion on that bill. We have a motion and a second. Item number 2, I'm sorry. Item number 2, House Bill 1503 by Leader Lambert.
And Mr. Chairman, I may make your life kind of easy today. And I was trying to catch Chairman Vaughn before he stepped out. So I was talking with your staff, and we had filed an amendment a few weeks ago, I think, to get this off the clerk's desk. It was a caption bill, and apparently that never got filed with this committee. So you only have an untimely filed amendment, which is 014674. Now, I know that it is the posture of this committee and the procedure to not take up untimely filed amendments. We're early in session. If you need to bump me a week and make everything timely filed, Mr. Chairman, I'm at y'all's pleasure, but it was not timely filed, unfortunately.
What would the committee like to do? Okay, we have a motion to hear the amendment. We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. You are properly before the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that's amendment code 014674 is the amendment code.
014674.
674. Yes,
That's
sir,
what
Mr.
I have
Chairman.
as well. You'd like to put that amendment on the bill?
Yes, sir, Mr.
Does
Chairman,
that
if we can.
amendment make the bill?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So without objection, we'll be voting on putting House Bill or House Amendment 14674 on the bill. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
I have that.
The bill is amended and you are recognized on the bill as amended. Leader Lambert.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and literally clean up language. I mean, that's what we're dealing with this bill, and all we'll ever be dealing with this bill. We put a very robust hemp regulatory framework in last year. Lots of folks on this committee and throughout the legislature and outside of the legislature worked very hard on getting a good regulatory framework in place. This updates the definition of supplier. This deals with the font size on the warning statements that are on some of these the products. Deals with a container definition, and then at the very last part makes it crystal clear the ag licenses that were issued prior to this. All of this is being floated over to ABC for regulation. None of those ag licenses are good beyond June 30th of this year. They're not going to be renewed. They're not going to be in effect. The ABC license is what everybody will utilize from here forward. And that's what the amendment does, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have any questions for Leader Lambert? Seeing none, we'll be voting on sending House Bill 1503 on the full committee. All those in favor vote aye when the board opens. All those opposed vote no. Take the vote, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 1503 on the full committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. And again, I apologize to your staff for any mistakes on our part on getting stuff to y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brings us back to item 1. Chairman Lafferty on House Bill 2530. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. We have a second? Do we have a, item number 1, House Bill 2530 by Chairman Lafferty. We have a motion and a second. You are properly before the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a administration bill, part of Governor Lee's efforts to help streamline and reduce the bulk of government here in the state of Tennessee by eliminating unnecessary licensing types and cutting some red tape and making the regulatory boards more efficient. This bill with the amendment perhaps I should ask, is the amendment, are we set up correctly, Mr. Chairman?
The amendment, what amendment number do you have there, Chairman Lafferty?
013936.
That's what I have. Does
All
that,
right.
does that amendment make the bill?
Yes, sir.
So you'd like to put that amendment on the bill?
If it's not already on there.
We need to put that amendment on the bill. We have a motion on the amendment. Have a second? Second. All those in favor of putting this amendment 013936 on the bill, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is on the bill, and you're recognized on the bill as amended.
All right. Thank you.
You just explained the bill as amended, I do believe. Is that right?
I hit the highlights.
Do we
There's a couple of more, but I can renew my motion too.
Leader Camper, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to hear more. This is a
It's a big bill.
24-page amendment, if you would. Talk a little bit more detail, other than the high level of what you.
You're recognized,
Mr.
Chairman
Chairman.
Lafferty.
Thank you, Chairman. So without going too far into the weeds, some of the things that this bill will do, it will merge the Board of Land Surveyors and the Board of Architects and Engineers, which will bring Tennessee in line with some of the more national norms and help reduce some administrative cost. It will also authorize associate engineer members of the Board of Architects and Engineers to review and approve applications, which will help reduce licensing times. They will merge the Board of Licensing Contractors Operational Fund with the Limited License Electrician and Limited License Plumbers Fund, which will streamline the board's financial process. It will add the option for the department to provide notices by electronic mail, and it will remove for the MVC director to take an oath of office removal for the MVC director to take an oath of office and have a bond. And finally, it will eliminate some licensing requirements for polygraph technicians. And I feel like I'm forgetting one. We've got a makeup artist. It's going to make life easier for makeup artists to get out and do what they do. So with that, I'll stand for questions or
Leader
defer
Kemper?
to the department.
That answers my question.
Chairman Brickett.
I was looking at the fiscal note. Where does this bill go after we pass it?
It goes to full commerce.
Okay. I'm just curiously, will it go to finance? I mean, because I think I've calculated a negative fiscal note on it, so I just didn't know.
It's my understanding it will go to finance after commerce.
Thank you.
Have any other questions? We do have 3 people signed up to testify. Only if, Mr. Terry Stars and Michelle Ava. Without objection, we'll go out of session and hear from our witnesses. Without objection, we're out of session. You each have 3 minutes. Just sit down. We'll control your mic. You have 3 minutes to make an opening statement. And just please state your name.
Are we ready?
You're welcome to start. You're recognized.
Good afternoon, Chair Grills and committee members. My name is Terry Starachi. I'm a proud lifelong resident of Nashville, Tennessee. I've invested my career in this community, and I'm standing before you today to ensure our state remains a place where hardworking entrepreneurs can thrive without unnecessary barriers. After decades as a makeup artist, I'm facing a major roadblock. I'm being told I need to spend upwards of $12,000 and 750 hours in school to continue what I've already mastered. At 64 years old, the requirement is more than a gut punch. It's an unnecessary barrier and to a career I have spent the last 2 decades building. I'm here today to ask you for your support of House Bill 2530 and the common sense reform to make makeup licensure an exemption under Title 62, Chapter 4. This bill simply allows me to legally continue the career I have dedicated to. To be clear, I do not treat skin, perform extractions, or provide medical services. I apply makeup safely, hygienically, and professionally. Yet I'm being forced to pursue a license that focuses entirely on procedures that I will never perform. This creates a massive financial and time burden that has no meaningful connection to my craft or to the public. We are not asking to lower the bar, we are asking to fix it. This exemption allows makeup artists to work legally and transparently and understand that actual reflect our trade. It replaces an irrelevant burden with a common sense framework that protects both professional and the public. In conclusion, I'd like to leave you with this. It is a true gift to help someone feel beautiful and confident about themselves. I cannot imagine this gift, this calling, being legislated out of my life. Thank you for your time and opportunity, and a big thank you to Leader Lambreth and Leader Lafferty.
Thank you for that. Just a second, we'll have the opportunity for the committee to ask you questions. You're recognized.
Okay, this is froze for a second, so can I just, can I get her to fix that for me, please? I'm so sorry.
Thank you, members of the committee.
Thank you. So good afternoon, Chair Grills, and to the committee. First and foremost, I want to thank the
Just
committee.
please state your name. if you
Oh,
don't-
I'm so sorry. I'm Michelle Eva. I'm the owner of Indulgent Salon and Medi Spa in Mount Juliet of Tennessee. First and foremost, I want to thank the committee for the opportunity to speak on behalf of HB 2530, especially to Leader Lambert, and thank you, Justin Lafferty. I'm here today to urge the support of this bill 2530, specifically to speak to the common sense reforms proposed to the makeup application exemption. As both a salon owner and an experienced beauty professional, I can tell you that basic makeup application does not alter the skin structure, affect its pH balance. It does not penetrate the dermis or involve any chemical processing. It is non-invasive to the surface levels, focused entirely on the temporary application of cosmetic products. Unlike aesthetic services, which may include chemical treatments, exfoliation procedures, or advanced skin therapies, standard makeup artistry simply does not carry the same level of health or safety risk that would justify requiring hundreds of hours of schooling and thousands of dollars of tuition. And yet, that is exactly what we're asking talented artists to do, especially when we consider who we're talking about. For many makeup artists, this is not a full-time career. It is a part-time calling that they show up for weddings, events, photography sessions, and special occasions. They build something meaningful on the side, often while juggling other responsibilities. Requiring these individuals to complete full aesthetic programs creates a financial and logistical barrier that is wholly disproportionate to the actual scope and risk of the level of service they provide. We are in effect pricing people out of an opportunity before they even get started. That is exactly the kind of barrier this bill seeks to remove. These changes to the current requirements would maintain public safety standards while also supporting small businesses, entrepreneurs, and creative professionals across Tennessee. Tennessee has long supported small business growth and individual opportunity. I believe updating these requirements would align to those values while still upholding professional standards. Thank you for your time, your consideration, the dedication to of all of you serving the state of Tennessee, and I sincerely ask, please, for this support on HB 2530. And thank you again for taking the time out to hear our concerns.
Well, thank you for taking part of your day and come down here to give us your opinion and your views. Thank you so much for that. We have any questions for the witnesses? Seeing none, thank you once again so much for being here. We'll go, without objection, we'll be going back into session. So we're back into session. Questions being called on the bill. We'll be voting on sending House Bill 2530 on the full. All those in favor vote yes when all those opposed vote no. Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 6 ayes, 1 nay, and 1 present not voting.
House Bill 2530 on the full committee. Thank you, Chairman Lafferty.
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry.
That brings us to our next item on our list was House Resolution by Representative Garrett. He asked us to roll that bill 1 week. I think I missed that earlier. So without objection, we'll be rolling House Resolution 149 1 week. I do not see Representative Renaud in the audience, so we'll be dealing with item number 13 by Representative Barrett, House Bill 2316. Can I get a motion? We have a motion and a second. You're properly before the committee and recognized. Representative Barrett?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Have any of you ever had a lightning strike or a surge at your house take out electrical equipment in your home? Probably after that happened, the first thing you did was go out and buy a surge protector after you went down to Best Buy to replace your equipment. This bill is seeking to do an assessment of the electric grid that we have here in Tennessee, particularly with regards to large transformers that are used for generation of electrical power. And what we're trying to determine is what exposure or risk that we have to both natural risks that are going to come from electromagnetic pulses, things from sun flares, solar flares, things like that, and also man-made risks. So we're seeking through this bill to have an assessment done so that we can then come back in future legislative sessions to try to address that issue. And with that, I do have, Mr. Chairman, I have witness testimony that's here that's experts on this that can speak far more eloquently about this issue than I can.
Yes, without objection. I believe he's flown in. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So without objection, we'll be going out of session to allow the witness to come forward and testify. You have 3 minutes to make an opening statement. Just identify yourself and make an opening statement for 3 minutes, and then we'll ask questions of you.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. My name's Lieutenant Colonel Tommy Waller, United States Marine Corps retired. I presently serve as the president and CEO of the nonprofit Center for Security Policy. Our mission is simple. We provide uncompromised analysis on what threatens the republic and then unconventional solutions to keep Americans safer. That uncompromised analysis comes from the fact that we accept no money from the government at any level, no money from foreign sources, and no money from any company or industry that we seek to protect with our policy recommendations. I want to thank Representative Jody Barrett for sponsoring this bill. We see it as a vital first step in protecting Tennessee's electric grid from certain collapse and from a very, very long-term blackout and a catastrophe in the future. Our organization has long considered a reliable and resilient electric grid as vital to our national security and public interest. And so I want to direct you to a handout that I provided to members of the committee via email earlier today. The reason that I can say with certainty that Tennessee's electric grid will collapse in the future is because at the moment it's protected by a standard that is transparently defective. You see on the left of this chart the standard established by the electric utility industry through NERC, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation. And on the center and the right, you see the real threat. Meanwhile, at 3 locations in the United States, including one vital substation owned by TVA, about 150 miles from here, there's technology in the grid that can protect against the threat that Representative Barrett shared. Other nations are installing this technology, but the United States is not, and it's because this standard requires no action whatsoever. HB 2316 simply compels the utility industry in Tennessee to conduct a survey of their system to the worst case scenario that you see here and identify which transformers are vulnerable, provide recommendations on how to protect them, and provide recommendations on how to pay for it. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have about the threat, about the solutions, and then about the legislation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that. And Mr. Jeremy Elrod is also on the list if he'd like to come forward. We'll give him 3 minutes to introduce himself and make an opening statement. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have too much to talk about, but my name is Jeremy Elrod. I'm with the Tennessee Municipal Electric Power Association. We represent the state's 60 municipal and county electric utilities. And I met Mr. Waller upstairs just a little while ago, and I think we share some of the same security concerns about our electric grid. But as far as electric utilities go, we kind of have 3 areas, types of threats. We have cyber, physical, and natural that we all have to prepare for and harden our systems and invest in to get them ready for. And utilities take all these seriously, and it's basically we try to make plans for and invest in areas that and make preparations for the ones that we are going to have, the ones that are most likely to affect service. These type of solar flares, EMPs are what we kind of call in the electric industry high impact but low probability, because they are low probability of actually occurring. Weather, which we've seen with Winter Storm Fern, tornadoes, that kind of thing, cyber attacks, and other natural disasters. We invest more heavily into those and more frequently, because those are the kind of threats that are more likely. Mr. Waller mentioned, federal regulation on this. This area is regulated federally by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the FERC, and other national federal agencies. There are standards, and while I'm not an engineer and can't speak to the specifics of them, adequacy of standards and that kind of thing, it's what the electric utilities go by, and it's something that for us as utilities to invest in properly, to completely defend against, would be expensive. I know the bill is just about reporting and only about a larger transformers. We think this is more of a federal issue, and also it's something that while we take seriously and invest in research and that kind of thing, particularly with TVA, it's something that we need a federal solution for, particularly that's going to whether it's in the large transformers, large substations, or throughout the electric grid. It would take tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars to properly invest in infrastructure to protect against these types of events. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all that I have. Ready for question.
Perfect. On 30 minutes. Chairman Bricken, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I guess my first question would be to Mr. Waller. And maybe I didn't hear clearly. How long has your organization been in existence? So I'll get an answer there first.
Sure, 1988.
1988. Currently, are you under any contracts with any utility in Tennessee to do this type of assessment?
No, sir. Since our founding until today, we've never been under contract or compensated by any utility or any company that could protect a utility. It's my job to go raise the money from private citizens to operate this organization.
Representative Bricken, you're recognized.
Then who would be, the bill requires the local utility to do this assessment. So who would perform that assessment?
Mr. Waller, you're recognized.
Sure. To perform the assessment, the utilities would do it themselves. So to comply with the standard established by NERC and approved by FERC, as my colleague was describing, the utilities already have to do these procedures to comply with the standard. It's just that they are able to put a number in that's sufficiently low that requires them to not have to do anything to protect the grid. So this should be part of their operating procedures as it is, the models that they already possess. We're just asking them to put the real number in and then let us know what's going to fail, what the cost would be to fix it, and then how they recommend that it be paid for. That's all, sir.
Chairman Bricken, Mr. Waller, just so you know, though, we're not allowed to use props, and that might be considered a prop. So let's not use that anymore. Thank you. Chairman Bricken, you're recognized. As soon as you take care of your wife calling. I understand. You're recognized.
Timing is everything. Last question. Maybe I was confused. Does your firm actually do consulting for utilities or not?
Mr. Waller, you recognized?
No, sir. So our organization sponsors something called the Secure the Grid Coalition. That coalition involves mostly volunteers. I mean, I get a paycheck from our nonprofit, but these volunteers include engineers, national security experts on solar weather, electromagnetic pulse. So this is a volunteer effort that is almost exclusively uncompensated and 100% for the public interest.
Chairman Bricken, last question, he says.
Has any other state adopted any similar legislation like this?
Mr. Waller, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. New Hampshire has filed a similar bill. Colorado has filed a bill. There are 2 other states that are in the process of filing. I'd rather not say until the lawmakers actually file it.
That's it.
Thank you. Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And so, Mr. Elrod, this question is for you. If you guys do the report and you come back and we tell you later that you need to go in and upgrade your infrastructure, your transformers to be EMP resistant, would y'all have to comply? I mean, under the TVA Act, or would the directive have to come from TVA?
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know the answer to that question. I know the state has, and I'm going to be perhaps getting out over my skis here a little bit. I know has some authority over, electrical code and that kind of thing. TVA's primary role as regulator is in financial, but that gets into a lot of different areas. I think the requirement as far as if we were to be required to comply with any type of standard or to do certain things, our biggest concern would be the cost, because there's only one place. We are not for-profit entities. We don't have, net profits that we give to our cities or anyone else. We run at a very small margin, just enough to pay for our debts and that kind of thing. So any costs have to be recovered by our ratepayers. So we have to increase rates. As we've talked about, y'all have talked about with data centers and that kind of thing. So I'm not sure as to if the ability for the state to get into that, but that any type of requirements though would have to be put on our ratepayers, and something like we try to harden things for things that are most likely to happen, instead of and then focus on those kinds of things.
You're recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I probably was more of a legal question there, Jeremy. I'm sorry to put you on the spot with that. I would contend that the local power companies probably would not comply in Tennessee, except for the one in Kingsport that is under an investor-owned utility out of Virginia. That's the unique thing about our utilities in Tennessee is they're under the TVA Act, and baked into that federal law is the regulatory authority. It's a weird thing. I mean, they wholesale electricity and then function as the regulator as well. And so I'll save my comments. I may when we go back into session, I may direct them to the sponsor.
Seeing any other questions for the witnesses? Seeing none, thank you for being here. And Mr. Waller, thank you for your service and for flying in today. We appreciate that. Hope you have a safe trip home. Without objection, we'll go back into session. And we'll go back to Representative Boyd to follow up with with Representative Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I share your concern, and I have been, as people, if you don't know or hadn't figured this out, up until a couple of weeks ago, I chaired the committee, and that's I'm the former chairman, but what you're looking into scares me to death. I mean, it's the type of stuff that you wake up at night and worry about, and especially with all of the geopolitical things going on around the world. But I have been over the last 8 years, been to a lot of national sessions where we meet with other lawmakers from around the nation. The reality is Tennessee's just different because we don't have the regulatory authority that they do in Maine or Arkansas or any of these other states, because almost the entire footprint of Tennessee falls under the Tennessee Valley Authority Act. And so, man, I'm supportive of what you're doing, but I think in the end, they're going, if TVA tells them they don't have to do it, I don't think they are. And so I wish we had more regulatory authority to do something about it, because I think it's a major threat. And so I just wanted to put that out there so you kind of understood. And you know that. I'm sure you're aware of that. But you're on the right track here, but I don't think anything will necessarily come of this in the state of Tennessee.
Representative Barrett, you're recognized.
Well, thank you, former chairman, my former chairman as a former member of the committee. Just want to address a couple of things. First of all, this bill is not seeking to regulate anyone. This is a information gathering endeavor. And what we're trying to do is get a report that fully assesses what our threat is. That threat that you and I share, that honestly, I didn't fully understand until I met with Mr. Waller and he explained to me exactly what is out there, what can go bump in the night, and then what that looks like. In the first section of the bill, we're talking about when we define covered equipment, we're talking about transformers that are 100 kilovolts, produce 100 kilovolts or greater capacity. These are not the transformers on the pole outside of your house, not even the transformers that you see maybe in your local substation. I would venture to guess, although I cannot say affirmatively, that probably none of Mr. Elrod's clients have a transformer that would qualify under this definition. And so the purpose of this is try to make sure that we are figuring out where the major issue is with these huge transformers, because if they blow, you're talking 4 years to replace them. You can't run down to Best Buy and purchase a new one and set it up and be back in business the next day. And it's also, if one goes down, you're talking about a domino effect across the grid. We're talking full-scale blackout of the entire grid for possibly up to 4 years before we can even produce one of these to replace it. So it's a major issue. And so the purpose of the legislation is not to put any regulation on TVA or anybody that is producing or operating one of these generators or one of these transformers. It's for us as a legislature to be able to get the data that tells us what the risk is. Now, the good news is there is technology out there that can alleviate some of this risk. There's a technology called solid ground that works just like a surge protector for these specific sized transformers. And based on some open source information, satellite imagery and whatnot, just trying to gather what we have out there available, we're only talking about 40 to 45 of these transformers in the state of Tennessee. So you're talking about roughly $25, $26 million fixes our problem. So this bill's not trying to get to that point where we're telling TVA or any of the municipal electric or the cooperatives that they have to go do this. We're trying to find out how big is the problem and how much will it cost to fix it. And then we can get with our partnership with TVA and whoever that's out there that's exposed and figure out if there's a way for us to partner together to protect the citizens of Tennessee.
Hey, just out of curiosity, that report that's they're going to come up with, who are they going to turn that into and who's going to hold that? And then how available is that going to be to the public? And are we just accumulating a lot of data for someone who may have nefarious intentions for our utilities?
Well,
You're right. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's two answers to that question. If you look in section 1 under paragraph 4, defining critical energy infrastructure information protocols, we're talking about information that is protected that we don't want that to get exposed and out there for people that have nefarious ideas. And then if you come back over to section 3 on page 2 of the bill, that lays out where the report would come to. And we're telling the folks to report this. Each covered entity would report to the General Assembly, the governor, the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulation, and TPUC.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Bricken.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Several kind of questions, and Representative Barrett, you and I have not discussed this, but a couple of things hit me on this. That you mentioned the 45 large transformers, and it seems like this should not be a requirement for all our utility districts to do this. Maybe we should have picked ones that have transformers of those size, because why put the burden on a small local utility that doesn't have any issue? Secondly, it sounds like this should have been really form of a resolution requesting TVA to do a study and report to us about the risks of the large transformers to the state's grid. And it just seems like to put this burden on local utilities just seems, I'm going to say, inappropriate. And for that reason, I will not be able to support it. But I could see a resolution requesting TVA do this study.
Representative Barrett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Representative Bricken, I appreciate where you're coming from. There's a couple of things to respond to that. First of all, the way the bill is drafted in the definition of covered equipment, that's why we have it, that it's only listed. The only thing that this report's going to apply to are any power transformers with a primary voltage of 100 kilovolts or greater. So your local utilities don't have those transformers. They're not producing energy in their system using this type of equipment. So it's not going to apply to them. Secondly, they're already doing this reporting anyway. In the prop that Mr. Waller was using, they already have to report to NERC that they are complying with that extremely low minimum standard. So this process is already taking place. What this bill is requiring them to do, just like testing your stove to see if it's going to burn you, if you only put it on 1 and touch the eye, it's not going to burn you the same as you turn it all the way up to 10. What this is trying to do is say, you need to turn this all the way up to 10 and then test it, and then let's see what the exposure is based on that.
Representative Boyd, want to follow up?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I've already expressed my concern about how to what level we would get cooperation. You know, when the governor started that Homeland Security Department and expanded under the Department of Safety into every county, one of the things that I made sure of this because I was worried about these types of things. There were people taking high-powered rifles and shooting transformers, and then we also have cybersecurity. So those agents do their normal stuff, whatever they do. I think they do some things in the schools, but one of the things they do is the critical infrastructure. And I'm wondering if there might be a way for us to amend your bill and accomplish this, but have Homeland Security do the report, because they would have to do it if we passed it. Would you be agreeable if we rolled this? I don't know how many more calendars we have. I'd love to work with you on it because I cared dearly about this. How many?
We have one more.
What, can we roll it 1 week? Would you be agreeable to that?
You recognize?
I would be honored to work with the former chair of the committee.
Seeing we have some camaraderie here, let's roll House Bill 2316 1 week. So without objection, roll 1 week.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, Chairman Powers, did you tell me that Representative Renault wanted to roll her bill 1 week? Okay, Representative Renault had to leave, so we're going to accommodate her by rolling item number 10, House Bill 846 1 week. So without objection, roll 1 week. That brings us back to item number 14, House Bill 2464. Motion. We have a motion and a second. Representative Pearson, you're recognized before the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Before you is House Bill 2464 to ban foreign parts in our electric utilities and high-performance computing facilities. This would prevent them from using transformers, parts, or equipment manufactured or sold by entities owned or controlled by foreign adversaries as defined under federal regulations. It also establishes reporting, compliance, and enforcement mechanisms administered primarily through the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury. It's really pretty simple here. This bill enhances our cybersecurity and physical resilience of our state's energy infrastructure and critical computing facilities. It increases supply chain transparency for grid components and computing hardware, reduces the risk of equipment being compromised or sabotaged via foreign adversaries who are seeking to disrupt our grid. As was previously mentioned, we need a reliable and resilient electric grid. The fiscal impact of this is expected to be minimal, manageable, and not significant. And the countries, particularly that are going to be impacted, would make sure that we don't have transformers from foreign adversaries, including the People's Republic of China, the Republic of Cuba, Islamic Republic of Iran, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and the Russian Federation. And this is pursuant to federal codes that currently exist. And so with that, I stand ready for your questions.
Thank you. You heard the explanation. Do we have anyone have a question? Representative Pearson? Seeing none, we'll be voting on sending House Bill 2464 to full committee. All those in favor vote yes when the board opens. All those opposed vote no. Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 5 nays, and 1 present not voting.
House Bill 2464 fails.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Thank you, Representative Pearson. We're not through with you yet.
There you go.
Item number 15, House Bill 2456. We have a motion and we have a second. You are properly before the committee. Seeing no amendments, you're
Thank you.
recognized.
Thank you so much. I'm working with my Senate sponsor on this. Is it possible to roll it to next week?
I don't see any problem with that. We
Okay.
have a motion to roll it 1 week. So
Thank you.
House Bill 2456 rolled 1 week.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Brings us to item number 16 by Chairman Lafferty, House Bill 2178. We have a motion. We get a second. We got a second. You're properly before the committee and recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the uptake tonight. Got a bill here that is simply trimming a few members off of a board that's already in existence. I had some questions. This is something that came from government operations. Had some questions about the size of the board and the effectiveness with the large amount of numbers. And so talked with them and we've decided to trim that down just a little bit to see if we can't better keep eyes on it and do a better job managing the process.
I have an amendment here of,
Sorry.
do you have that amendment as well?
013928.
That's what I have. Would you
Yes,
like to
sir.
put that amendment on the bill?
Please, sir.
Any objection to putting this amendment on the bill? If we can get a motion in a second, we have a motion in a second. All those in favor of putting amendment 013928 on the bill, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment's been put on the bill
Thanks, sir.
and you're recognized on the bill as amended.
My previous explanation still holds, so I appreciate the support.
We do have 2 people that are available to speak in support, but only if needed. Representative Bricken, we'll recognize you first.
But it's currently 22 as amended. What's the number?
I believe we
You're
settled
recognized.
on, I'm sorry,
No, you're recognized.
Chairman, I believe we settled on 15.
Okay.
Is that sufficient there, Chairman Bricken?
Mhm.
We're good? Questions been called on the bill? All those in favor of sending House Bill 2178 on the full committee, vote yes whenever the board opens, vote no if you're opposed. Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 2178 on the full committee.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Leader Camper. Item number 17. We have a
Second.
motion and a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, actually, forgive me. I meant to take this off notice. I talked with Representative Butler about his data center bill, and Renault has another one, so I'm going to work with them on theirs. So I'm going to take mine off notice.
Well, we will take yours off notice. Without objection, we'll be taking House Bill 2054 off notice.
Yeah.
And that wraps us up today. We got out of here in record time. Yeah. If we will see y'all here next week, so without objection, we are adjourned.